So, a warm welcome, Aanchal, to my podcast, Entrepreneurs Echo, where our focus is to cover the stories of founders, where I personally feel the stories must be told. So, let me just start off with the
Thank
barrage
you
of
so
questions that
much.
I have for yourself. My pleasure.
I was going to thank you, Anand, for having me here and thinking of my story as one of the stories that needs to be told.
Absolutely. You definitely fall into the category of the stories that must be told. So, let me just start off straight with the barrage of questions. Arrange it all seems to be a very fascinating concept. So, what's the story behind it?
So, arrange it all, as I call it, my third baby. I'm a mother of two kids, and I've been a homemaker for 12, 13 years before arrange it all came into being. Okay. So, home for me was always a very special, safe space. Like, growing up as a child, also, I was very organized. So, my room used to be the best room in the house, and I would take the best of the things. And my dresser used to be like, with small, that time we did not had organizers, but small baskets, small DIY things and all. So it started from there. And then I used to see whenever I used to go to someone's home, I used to focus on कि कपड़े कैसे फोल्ड किए हुए हैं कितना नीट लग रहा है बेसिक से बेसिक होम्स में I have realized that you can make it look very functional and at the same time very pretty also. It need not be really very well interiors done or something like that for home to feel that for you. Space is very emotional for me. So, cut to 2019 20 जब COVID हुआ था. So that time I realized that everyone was very stressed for space, right? हम सब घर पे थे. I was at home with my husband and my 1.5-year-old and 6-year-old मुंबई के घर में छोटे से 2 BHK में. And I realized that it was bothering a lot of people also because उस समय a lot of people were spending time at home. So
Right,
that's
right.
when this started, that concept of space and everything. And I always used to feel कि this is very basic, right? Organizing comes so naturally to me कि मुझे बहुत basic लगता था. But then I started helping my family members, my friends, like virtual consults, and I realized I started getting very good feedback.
Very
And
nice.
that's
Okay.
where that's when I realized that this is something that is a slightly, a skill दैट लाइक कुकिंग मुझे बहुत ऑर्गेनिकली नहीं आती है वैसे हो सकता है और ऑर्गेनाइजिंग सबको ऑर्गेनिकली नहीं आती होगी बट
Right.
इट्स अ स्किल जैसे मैं कुकिंग सीख सकती हूँ वैसे कोई ऑर्गेनाइजिंग भी सीख सकता है so that's where this all started and we are in 2025 we have done 300 plus homes where we have decluttered and
Fantastic.
organized homes and slowly and steadily the idea graduated from just an idea to a business model to a one man show to a proper team. It's been a process that has been slow and I have been also evolving with it.
It's amazing. That's really amazing. अच्छा मेरे को एक चीज बताओ do you often get confused as an interior design company? What exactly is the difference between an interior design company, vis-a-vis the kind of thing that you are doing?
Yeah, a lot of times frankly when we say that we are space consultants and stuffs like that तो सबसे पहले तो प्रोफेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजिंग लोगों को समझ में नहीं आती है कि आप एज अ प्रोफेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजर क्या करते हो तो हम प्रोफेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजिंग की जगह वी स्टार्टेड कॉलिंग आवरसेल्व्स एज स्पेस कंसल्टेंट्स नाउ द मोमेंट वी
Correct.
स्टार्टेड यूजिंग दोस टर्म्स लाइक स्पेस कंसल्टेंट्स it started becoming like अच्छा आप interiors में हो and still we get a lot of requests regarding interiors also but we are very different. So interior designers, what they would do is they will make your house look very beautiful. Okay. What we do is like we make the places that are more functional and are required day-to-day basis, like the things behind the doors and drawers, as we call. जब आप drawer खोलो, जब आप wardrobes खोलो, आपका जो personal सामान है, which makes your brings out your identity, which you use on a day-to-day basis, हम उसको easy and functional and aesthetic बनाते हैं. Whatever are your personal stuffs. So that's how we are different from interior designers. We don't always go by, we always will focus on functionality first and उसके बाद हम aesthetics पे आते हैं. Because आपको
Right.
उस घर में रहना है, रोज ऑपरेट करना है. So we will always create simple systems जिसकी वजह से आपकी जिंदगी आसान हो. जहां कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी आती है वहां मेंटेनेंस नहीं होता है. Right?
Absolutely. I think I get your point
Yeah.
very clearly. In fact, this is one of the biggest challenges that we face at homes also, because interiors, मेरे को लगता है कि interiors करवाना एक टास्क है, नो डाउट, ओके, बट इंटीरियर्स के बाद ही एक्चुअल काम चालू होता है मेरे ख्याल से। वो शायद दिस इज एग्जैक्टली द स्पेस दैट यू आर एक्चुअली ट्राइंग टू फिल इन, एंड दिस अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग स्पेस एक्चुअली. So can we just give a get a little bit of your background also, in terms of you as an individual, uh, your pedigree and stuff like that, so that will also give us some kind of an idea, and how entrepreneurship you came into.
So I did my graduation BCom. So I am a economics honors graduate from Calcutta University.
Okay.
Post which graduation के बाद I got married and moved to Mumbai. And उसके बाद I had two beautiful kids and I was happily raising them. But I always wanted to do something. I did a little bit of had a corporate background before marriage of 6 months or so, working for
Okay.
HDFC Bank and
Okay.
all. But there were certain health issues that I had faced, because of which I had quit my job, and for a longer time I was not working. And then I became a mother, and it was a conscious choice to, like, just enjoy that time. But when the kids started growing up, that is where I started feeling ki, I want to do something.
Okay.
Right? I am not a person who would want to be there 24/7 at home, just like, thinking about something bigger for myself. Like, entrepreneurship actually happened for me more than anything else, because I wanted
Okay.
to
Okay.
explore myself. I wanted to do something more with my life. So, and because I had not worked in corporate for so long, I did not know ki kya, right? I had realized long back ki entrepreneur, I am not made for jobs. I tried smaller jobs here or there, but I realized कि बहुत बार किसी और के प्रिंसिपल्स को लेके काम करना मेरे लिए कभी कभी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है, राइट? सो आई वांटेड टू वर्क व्हाट my gut said, my principles were. And I think that was one of a very, very big thing that I still practice in Arrange It All also. Ki these are the guiding principles. Jo, if it doesn't go down well with me, I will not do it. So that's how the entrepreneurship journey started. It's a very funny incident. Recently, we were talking to someone, and my husband Sumit, he's an IIM graduate. Okay, so we were
Okay.
talking to someone. He's with me in this. He joined 1.5 years back,
Okay.
and someone he introduced himself, and they automatically thought me also as an MBA.
Okay.
So he's like, "From which college are you? Did you meet him?" And I am Calcutta, and he's like, "No." So I just said, "No, I am a economics honors. I'm just a graduate." And the moment I said I'm just a graduate, he immediately says, "Who hires MBAs like me?" So that was like, okay. So I have realized, was like, there's nothing called just or something. You evolve as a person, you know what you are doing. So whatever background you are coming from, life changes you, you grow.
That's amazing, yeah. So, what was the trigger point? So, was there any specific trigger point that you had where you thought that this is what I'm going to do? See, one is of course interest that you have. You love spaces and stuff like that. But to make a business model out of the idea that you have is not an easy task, right? So, what was the trigger point? So, was there any specific trigger point that you felt where this is of course my interest, and I want to convert this interest into a full-fledged business model for myself.
या सो एज आई वाज एक्सप्लेनिंग यू, मेरी जो कोविड की कहानी थी उसमें
हाँ.
एक और बहुत बड़ा पॉइंट था कि उस समय वी वेर डूइंग इंटीरियर्स ऑफ आवर ओन होम इन मुंबई.
Okay.
ठीक है, सो दैट प्लानिंग ऑफ द होम, आई डिड नॉट हैड कि प्लम्बिंग कैसे होनी चाहिए एंड वो सब मोर ऑफ अ इंटीरियर एंड आर्किटेक्ट फोटे होता है.
Correct.
बट आई
Correct.
वाज वेरी वेरी श्योर अबाउट मेरा वार्डरोब का इंटरनल हाइट्स एंड ड्रॉर्स एंड कैटेगरीज कैसे होने चाहिए, बिकॉज आई यूज टू फाइंड दैट मिसिंग इन जनरलाइज रेंटेड होम्स वार्डरोब्स में. सो आई वाज वेरी क्लियर एंड फ्रैंकली अनंत, लोग बहुत ज्यादा पिंटरेस्ट पे जाते थे. मैं पिंटरेस्ट पे गई ही नहीं एक बार भी टू फिगर आउट कि मतलब मेरा वार्डरोब कैसा दिखना चाहिए. आई ऑल्सो
Correct.
ऑलवेज यूज टू इमेजिन माई सेल्फ कि ये ऐसे बनेगा, यहाँ ड्रॉर आएगा, उसमें ये जाएगा एंड एवरीथिंग. किचन हो चाहे ईच एंड एवरी कैटेगरी ऑफ माई होम, everything had a home in itself in the new house. And that detailing is something that I realized that was, I enjoyed it. Totally. I think
Very nice.
that
Okay.
was a trigger point for me to start thinking, okay, I'm good at this. I enjoy this. Why not think about this as a proper career?
Lovely. So basically, it was something that you thought it was an interest level for you, and then it turned out to be a passion, and then you turned the
Absolutely.
passion into a proper profession, which is in terms of creating a business model out of it. Can you run us through the first couple of years of entrepreneurship? Because as I understand, this would have been uh, one, it's a very new journey for you. Secondly, it's not easy to become an entrepreneur, right? You just have an idea, you
Yeah.
have a passion, you just can't jump into. So, what were the things, what were the initial thoughts before jumping into and making it into a full scale, business model? So, were there any specific thoughts? Were there any specific fears? A sense of failure that you probably might encounter. So, what exactly was the mindset that you were in at that point of time, Archie? So, I would be very keen to know about that.
So frankly, entrepreneurship जैसे अभी बोलते हैं उस समय मैंने 4 5 years पहले when I conceptualized it इतना romanticize नहीं किया था.
नहीं किया था।
ठीक है. So it just started कि I do have time on my hands. ठीक है. So
हम्म,
I will dedicate 2 3 hours of my day to build something slowly, and I'll help small in smaller ways whichever I can people. उसके लिए मैंने सोचा कि एक कंपनी का नाम जरूरी है. तो बैठ के सोचना शुरू किया कि कंपनी का नाम क्या होना चाहिए. बहुत सारे वर्ड्स लिखे, जंबल किया एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड अरेंज इट ऑल इज समथिंग रेजोनेटेड विथ मी. कंपनी का नाम मिल गया. अब कंपनी का नाम कहीं तो लिखना है, कुछ तो पोस्टर डिजाइन करना पड़ेगा टू
करना
टेल
पड़ेगा।
पीपल कि मैं क्या करती हूँ. बिकॉज लोगों को जब मैं बोलती थी मैं ये करना चाहती हूँ, तो लगता था कि किसी को समझ नहीं आता था फ्रेंकली, और मुझे ही नहीं समझ में आता था कैसे समझाऊं. I didn't
करेक्ट।
know how to explain people because it was such a niche concept that people used to think you'll come and clean my wardrobe, come and clean my house. What will you exactly do? Right. So I was like, I was trying to find terms कि किस वे में समझाऊं. And तब तक I was not working, right? तो उसके बाद भी once I had finalized कि I'll become this, कोई मुझसे पूछता था what do you do? I used to say I'm a housewife. I never used to come out and say, okay, I have a company that I've started that does this. It took
Why
me
was that?
time.
But why did you do that? Any
It,
specific
it
reasons for
came
that?
out naturally. No, it came out naturally. For me to come out and say, okay, I've started this, which does this,
Right.
and to explain it further कि ये no, conventional नहीं है, was very hard, right? Because
I understand.
it had
Yeah.
become a part of me. Yeah. So it took some time, and then I started an Instagram page. Okay, अब मुझे Instagram के बारे में तब तक I did not had an Instagram page. I started an Instagram page. Now content जाना पड़ेगा, and I used to see such beautiful content out there on Instagram. People are doing so. I was like बनाते कैसे हैं, कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा था. I was just right, left, center एक poster create करके in friends and family I was circulating. That was the initial point. Okay, done. उसके बाद I was like कुछ तो समझना पड़ेगा बिजनेस के बारे में. ना टर्म्स पता है, ना टर्मिनोलॉजीज पता है, how to move forward. ना ये पता है कि what should be the pricing of me, because this was not known कि I can research about it, right? So
Absolutely.
US वगैरह में था, but for Indian mentality को उसको adapt करके I realized $200 an hour कोई यहाँ पे नहीं करेगा फॉरेस्ट के लिए, राइट? सो
Correct.
हाँ. सो एक अच्छी चीज उस समय थी कि कोविड में देर were two series that came out around then. One was Con Mary का series था, Mary Kondo, Tiding with Mary
Okay.
Kondo. It was a Netflix series, and the other one was Home Edit. ठीक है. सो दोज आर द सीरीज दैट पीपल हैड सीन, कुछ कुछ लोग. सो मेरे लिए फिर रिलेट करना थोड़ा आसान हो गया था. दिस इज व्हाट दे आर डूइंग देयर, दिस इज व्हाट आई एम डूइंग हियर, बट in my own way. So I joined few women entrepreneurs network group, which actually taught me a lot of things. Frankly, there was this
Fantastic. Okay.
particular group that I had joined, and it taught me a lot of things. I started learning with a very, and I realized कि मुझे base से सब कुछ सीखना पड़ेगा, मुझे कुछ आता नहीं है उस समय. But I was very open to doing things, and I was managing COVID में. I had no help. I was managing, but I had a support of my family, thankfully. And right, चाहे दिन में हो चाहे रात को, whenever I used to find time, I used to read up and everything. Slowly and steadily started getting in that mindset कि अच्छा ये मेरा बिजनेस है, इसको बड़ा बनाना है. रेवेन्यू कैसे आएगा, इन्वेस्टमेंट कितना लगेगा, stuffs like those. And it's a change of mindset that happens that makes things happen. I think it's a shift. Once that passion started coming, ki nahi, I want to, the more people used to say ki this is not going to work, I used to get more irritated. No, I will make this work.
So basically, you were on a revenge mode. कि वो, so
पता
that's
नहीं
what. So some
अब
people, yeah, yeah, no, I understand. This mindset that you're talking about. Okay, I think it's really beautiful to so, I mean, what exactly goes into the minds of entrepreneurs, when they start off. Because when you started off talking about this entire, when I started asking you with respect to what was the trigger point and stuff like that, you just so casually said that this was just an idea that I had. I never thought, I never wanted to, kind of over sensationalize this entire terminology of entrepreneurship and all that stuff, which is so beautiful actually. Okay, because it's only now that we only now that you look at your journey back and then you think about it. Oh yeah, I just started off just like that, but now it's become like a full scale business model. Now, as you rightly said, obviously things and people evolve
yeah.
at every
Slowly and
stage.
steadily, I started eating, breathing, everything, arrange it all. Like, that
Fantastic.
had become a normal thing.
So tell me something. This is something that a lot of entrepreneurs today have a challenge with, especially in terms of, see, when you design a particular product, for example, and you don't have any reference point. Like, for example, you don't have any reference point because you're working on a very niche kind of a segment, right? So if you don't have
Right.
a reference point, where do you start and how do you go about setting up price for your product? That, is something that I would definitely like to get to know from you.
That's actually very interesting. It gradually developed. Okay, it was not day one that I had realized that this is how this will be priced and everything. So interestingly, I started approaching few of my friends कि मुझे आपके projects करने हैं free में. One of the person was moving her home. एक मेरी friend है whose wardrobe was very cluttered. So I said कि I will do this just to understand कि अपने लिए करना और client के लिए करने में क्या difference है, what are their expectations and what are the
Right.
cost involved in doing these projects. So at least I would get to know ki what are the steps involved, because until unless you do it, you don't understand the challenges that you are going to face, right?
Absolutely.
So that is where it started, and I started noting down all the costs. Now cost theek hai, I was ready to take any project that covers that cost, or even if it doesn't cover that cost, I'm okay to do first 20 projects just like that,
So when you're talking in
right?
terms of
So
costs, what is the kind of cost that you're talking about? I mean, because this is a service that you're offering, right?
yes.
Or yeah.
Yeah. So, there are very, very small costs. मेरे मतलब I'm come from a मारवाड़ी family. मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा रहता है कि travel, खाना, ये वो छोटे छोटे is everything is a
So you're
cost.
talking about the incidental expenses.
हाँ, मतलब even if I am taking a membership of some networking group, it's a cost. If I'm thinking of starting my website, it's a cost. Even if it's a small cost, it's everything is getting added up,
Added
right?
up, correct.
उस
सही
हाँ
बात है.
उस and frankly to be very honest, मुझे उस समय एक्सेल शीट्स भी नहीं समझ में आती थी कि and people used to say business plan बनाया क्या. I was like okay, business plan बनाना होता है. 2 years projection, 5 years projection. I was like, मुझे next 6 months ही नहीं पता अभी तो कि मैं क्या कर रही
Right.
हूँ. Which is not, I don't think is the right way to go. But in the hindsight, I feel कि I could have been better prepared, read, and everything. But one thing led to other. Another thing is hunger to learn, right? Just because saying कि मुझे
Fabulous.
नहीं आता है, that doesn't mean कि आप सीख नहीं सकते हो. Every point of time you can learn something. Today also, if I hire someone in my company, Anand, the only thing I see is the hunger to learn. कि आपको काम नहीं आता, मुझे समझ में आता है. अगर आपको सीखने का एटीट्यूड है तो आप कुछ भी सीख सकते हो, right? So that is exactly where it started. And then I remember कि virtual consult में, even if I used to say कि I will get this project done in 1,000 rupees, people used to say ये तो बहुत महंगा है.
Even for that amount.
Yes, ये तो बहुत महंगा है. And I was hearing rejection after rejection. I was like, I'm asking, मतलब I will be spending 3 hours with you on the wardrobe, understanding, giving a plan, everything. I think 1,000 तो बहुत basic है ना. So I was like, उससे नीचे how do I work? right?
Because I think it's also the question that, see, one is you don't have an understanding of what pricing to charge. Okay, the other thing is clients themselves are totally clueless, right? Because
Yes,
so it's like it's working both the ways. It's not that, you are to blame. It's also from clients and that they also don't
yes,
understand. So which is why whatever
हाँ,
pricing that you tell them, they will feel that, oh, this is like too much.
absolutely.
You should actually just do it free of cost kind of a stuff. I totally get your
हाँ.
point. Yeah, go ahead.
So slowly and steadily, I did get few projects, and when I spoke to the clients after the project was done, they said you are undercharging. Actually, that came from the client. The kind of difference you have created in my life, I think this value was unjustified. Right? That's how I was like, okay, slowly increased my prices, changed my mindset that, ek to hamisha we come from a mindset also ki when people start saying no, iske paise kaun hi dega, right? Which I heard a lot and I still hear. And you start believing it yourself. To keep that belief aside and believe ki nahi, what I am doing is actually creating difference in someone's life takes a lot of courage and at the same time conviction that madness needs to be there.
Absolutely. And I think in a way, what you're also saying is that entrepreneurs over a period of time need to learn how to say a no. That's very, very important, right?
वो
And which
बहुत
is what
बाद में आया. Initial 2 years में I have said yes to everything, like everything. I have
absolutely,
said yes
absolutely.
to
And and
absolutely everything.
and I understand from where you're also coming from, because if a client themselves, they come and tell you that, hey, listen, I think you are undercharging for the services and for the for the output quality that you're having. I think that's a big validation that comes from the client, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
and which could be a turning point, for the entrepreneurs as well, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
tell me something. How do you feel this entire industry is shaping up today, Aanchal? I mean, how are the people's tastes evolving over a period of time? From what it was say 10 years back to what it is today. Are we in the stage of as we call it minimalism, or are we in the stage of maximalism at this point of time in terms of people's choices?
So it's, I think it's a very personal choice. How do we want to live? Okay. So
Right,
I myself am not a minimalistic. I will have everything that I want to have and
right.
love to have. Right. So I am not a minimalistic person. I never say that. But I'm not a maximalist as well. Okay. And I have a no problem with people who are maximalists as well, who loves things, who love buying. My only thing is कि whatever you have, you should use it and love it. मेरा बस
Right.
एक ही रहता है कि things that we buy or things that we have, if we are not using them, then we are wasting the resources, or we are not doing justice to it, right? And
Sure.
that's where the entire concept of organizing comes. We make your space looks like in a way that functional हो, visual हो, सब कुछ दिखे आपको, ताकि आप अपना सामान ज्यादा से ज्यादा यूज करो, right? So we always encourage people have as much as you want. I love seeing those walk-in closets and beautiful things and everything. मुझे बहुत मजा आता है. And there are certain clients who love their things, right? And उनसे मिलके मुझे और मजा आता है because there's passion in that also, right? In dressing up and everything. So I love this concept as well. My only thing हमेशा यही रहता है कि you use it. And in terms of consumer choices, I think minimalistic का जो पूरा है वो बहुत कम लोग होते हैं, and it needs a lot of conviction, frankly,
A lot of
to
conviction,
say that
correct.
I am happy in so many things. I'm
Right.
happy with one knife in the house because it's doing its job,
Correct.
right? I don't need anything else. More than that, I don't need a fancy blender. मतलब अलग अलग सब्जी काटने के लिए अलग अलग चीजें नहीं होगी मेरे पास तो भी चलेगा. Knife is more than enough, right?
Right,
It's
right,
doing
right.
its job. So, in that respect, I feel ki to each one, it's a very, very personal choice. And where this organizing industry is heading, I feel it's going to be the next big thing in service industry, frankly, right? Because with the house, the kind of house moves that happen, if you see intercities or, you know, फ्रॉम एक्सपैट लोकेशंस या जो भी आप देख लो, इतने हाउस मूव्स होते हैं एंड पीपल आर बिजी नाउ, राइट? सो आई रिमेम्बर वन ऑफ माय क्लाइंट, उन जिनका हाउस मूव हमने हैंडल किया था, आई वाज जस्ट टॉकिंग टू देम वन डे एंड दे सेड कि यू टुक अवे द पेन ऑफ सेटिंग अप द हाउस एंड गेव मी माय 1 मंथ जिसमें मैं बहुत कुछ और कर सकता हूँ, right?
True.
I could focus on family, I could focus on my business and everything. What you made possible in 5 days, I would have taken 1 month and it would have been extremely painful. So you gave those 25 days back to me. So, there is merit in what professional organizers do, right? People are busy, overwhelmed, they want to enjoy their time, and that's what we want to give them. When you're moving into a house that is completely set up, trust me, the expression of the clients is what makes it all worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me something, Achal. I'm also very curious to know, इसमें वास्तु का कितना play होता है? Because there are certain people who are actually very, very vastu oriented, right? One is, of course, they do the interiors as per the vastu. But when it comes to arranging of, the items which are there in the house, do people take vastu for that as well, also very seriously, or how is it?
I have not seen that because generally वास्तु की जितनी मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, इट इज लाइक जब आप इंटीरियर करा रहे होते हो, आपका सेफ कहाँ होगा, आपका दरवाजे का डायरेक्शन, बेड का डायरेक्शन, दीज आर ऑलरेडी डिसाइडेड इफ यू
Right.
आर अ पर्सन हु बिलीव्स इन वास्तु. आपका गैस स्टव कहाँ जाएगा, सिंक कहाँ जाएगा, पानी, अग्नि, ऑल दोज थिंग्स दैट कम होता है वो ऑलरेडी डिसाइडेड होता है. व्हेन इट कम्स टू थिंग्स, जब जगह ऑलरेडी बन गई है, तब ऑलरेडी आपको पता है कि कपड़े वार्डरोब्स में जाने हैं जो कि यहाँ जाएगा. देयर माइट बी अ सेफ जहाँ वास्तु कंप्लायंट होगा. सो वो ऑलरेडी जगह वहां पे बनी हुई होती है सेफ की, एंड पीपल आर पर्टिकुलर कि यहाँ पे ये होगा. बट अदरवाइज ऑर्गेनाइजिंग में आई डोंट थिंक वास्तु कम्स सो मच.
तो एक सिंपल एग्जांपल था. फॉर एग्जांपल मेरे पास अभी सम पूजा की मूर्तियां वगैरह सब है मेरे पास. अब एक बुद्धा का आइडल हो गया फॉर एग्जांपल. अब बुद्धा का आइडल, कुछ कुछ लोग क्या करते हैं कि बुद्धा का आइडल को सिर्फ दे कीप इट इन देयर पूजा यूनिट. ओके, सम ऑफ द पीपल आर वेरी स्पेसिफिक दैट दे डोंट वांट टू कीप इट इन द पूजा यूनिट. दे वांट टू कीप इट इन द यू नो से द फॉयर एरिया, एंड टीवी यूनिट के बगल में रखना, उस तरह का. So is that something of a service that you also provide, in terms of saying that, okay, fine, you should actually, put it at this particular place and stuff like that, or what is it?
We have not come across such requests, frankly. एक तो
Okay,
I think
okay.
this comes under more of interior styling
Interior
and
styling, okay.
interior designing rather than actually organizing, right? Because
Right.
अगर किचन ऑलरेडी बना हुआ है आपका, तो हम फंक्शनैलिटी देखते हैं कि अगर आपका गैस बना हुआ है तो जनरली क्या है, आपके कटलरी ड्रॉर्स बने हुए रहेंगे. तो आपको पता है आजकल मॉड्यूलर किचन्स में कि पैंट्री बनी हुई है. सो चीजें थोड़ी सोच के ऑलरेडी बनी हुई होती है. उन
True,
चीजों को
true.
अरेंज बेटर पर तरीके से और वो स्पेस को आप बेटर कैसे ऑप्टिमाइज कर सकते हो इज व्हाट वी डू, राइट?
So
सो
this is
दीज थिंग्स आर ऑलरेडी टेकन केयर ऑफ व्हेन वी कम इनटू द पिक्चर मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम.
right, right. But from a customer journey perspective, from the set of customers that you're working with currently, tell me something. What is the kind of number one is in terms of feedback that you get from the customers, which I've anyway seen on your website, which is really awesome. But what are the pain points that the customer faces when it comes to this particular business of yours? What exactly is the pain point that the customer is more concerned about?
Uh, I think trusting us with their personal space, right? So
Right.
हाँ, so एक वो first होता है कि letting us in their personal space, because जब
Correct.
हम किसी के wardrobe या kitchen को organize करते हैं, we know in and out there, right? That's why we are very very careful about the kind of people we work with, like our team members and all are we are very careful who works within Arrange It All, right? That is one. सेकेंड थिंग इज कि सी, अगर सब्स्टिट्यूट देखें तो इस सर्विस का सब्स्टिट्यूट सिर्फ ये है कि हम खुद से कर लेंगे, राइट? सो प्राइस पॉइंट हमेशा मैच नहीं करता है विद द क्लाइंट्स एक्सपेक्टेशन, राइट?
Sure.
समवन हु इज इन नीड, बट एट टाइम्स प्राइस पॉइंट्स नहीं मैच करता है.
Okay,
ठीक है, so
okay.
that is something that is a pain point for the clients. Even we want to go out and help that client, at times we are not able to, right?
I
We would
understand.
want to reach that place where we can do this, right? When organizing becomes for all, but it's being a very, very niche industry, we have to maintain that, right? So that is the one of the other thing. उसके अलावा I don't think people are opening up quite a bit to a service like this. Clients का एक another level of pain point ये हो सकता है existing house में कि they have to be constantly involved for those 3 4 days when they are with us,
Right,
right? To
right.
make those decisions of keeping or not keeping. Organizing
Sure.
is something that हम बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कर सकते हैं, right? But decluttering is something that हमें client की involvement चाहिए होती है, because even a piece of paper we will not throw without the client's consent,
Consent. Right.
right? So we don't take that liberty at all on us, because something that might not hold any value for me, client के लिए emotional हो सकता है और important हो सकता है.
Absolutely. And this entire process of putting up things in its place and stuff like that, arranging, approximately what is the time frame that it takes for you guys? It depends on houses
So
to
we,
houses.
yeah,
Obviously, with
yeah, it depends, हाँ, कितनी categories है, कितना सामान है और कितना space है. We study that beforehand, and then we understand कि मतलब, we have done like 6 BHK villas in 5 days, and we have
oh,
done one, yeah, and we have done one walk-in closet in 3 days.
in 3 days also, is it? So that's the
So
kind of
मतलब
range.
एक वॉक इन करने, हाँ, एक वॉक इन करने में हमें 3 दिन लगा, एंड एक पूरा विला अरेंज करने में हमें 5 दिन लगा. सो मतलब बहुत फ्लक्चुएट करता है किस कंडीशन में है, कितना टाइम बैंडविड्थ क्लाइंट के पास है, कितना सामान है दैट नीड्स टू बी, मतलब आप बोलोगे सिर्फ 6 वार्डरोब है, बट उस 6 वार्डरोब में कितना सामान है दैट नीड्स टू कम आउट, एंड यू हैव टू गो थ्रू इट बिफोर you can put it back, right? So that also is a time consuming activity, so we have to really study the space and categories before we decide कि कितना time लगेगा.
Fantastic. Now, coming back to your journey on entrepreneurship, tell me something, was there any specific moment that you felt that I think, I'm done with this and I don't want to, carry this forward. I don't think this is a workable option.
Every
If
week.
that was one kind of a moment, if that was, that was one moment, how did you counter that moment? Okay, what was the mindset at that point of time, and what was it? How did you find? What were the sources apart from your regular circles of your husband, of your spouses, of your family? Was there any other external, motivational tools that you that you adopted, which sailed you through the entire journey?
um I think you have to talk to just positive people. So we are a bunch of crazy people who every week I'm sure we call once each other and tell ki or nahi ho raha, I'm ready to shut this
Ready to
down.
shut this down?
And this happens with me on an every week basis, though I know I'm not going to shut it down, because it's not about it's my bread and butter, but it's also about how passionate I feel about the entire concept, and I want to build this, right? So every week I go through, the moment I get a positive feedback and client confirmations are happening, to a day when the clients are not reverting. So it is just like a curve that goes up and down. But yeah, I keep on, nowadays I just not let it overpower me for more than few seconds or few minutes, and then I keep on telling myself, okay, one no means 10 more yes, which will happen. And
Basically,
then,
you're saying
like,
that no, you
there will
motivate
be a
yourself.
better.
You basically
Yeah,
motivate
I
yourself, is
went
what
it
you're
out.
saying.
I went it out. It's very simple. I think for women, it works the best.
It
I
works the
just
best.
went it out. Yes. I went it out in front of my friends. I went it out in front of my business partner and my husband. And he'll very patiently listen, because he knows that another 5 minutes I'll be deep down into something
You'll
building
deal
it
into
again.
something else. Yeah, correct.
So I think you have to constantly motivate yourself. There are days, crazy days, when I don't feel like even getting out of the bed. I'm so dead tired. But it's also discipline, it's also consistency, right? You don't let yourself have that liberty of not showing up. So that is something that is very, very, I don't know the kind of person I am. If I have committed, then there is no uh, I don't give myself that liberty कि it's okay आज नहीं गए तो क्या हुआ. I don't let that happen.
That's actually a very interesting, perspective that you've actually just given. I've been talking to so many founders over the last, 3, 4 months, and what I find as a similar kind of a pattern is what you just told now. In terms of just showing up, just show up, on a day-to-day basis. Now that showing
Yes.
up is one of the most difficult things to do, but it's also one of the most easiest things to do. And if you're able to show up as an entrepreneur, see, this is a common thing that I've actually noticed in all the people that I've done the podcast with. Everybody says the same thing, consistency and showing up. So this, I think, is one of the biggest traits of an entrepreneur. Do you agree, or
So
do you
every,
think?
I completely agree. Every day when you come to office at 9:30, open your laptop, you will do something, right? Even if you have zero projects in my hand, when I had absolutely in my first year, Anand, I had almost 3 महीने में एक project. ठीक है.
Make project,
Still,
correct.
I used to open my laptop exactly at the same time, and I used to work. I was like, I can create content, I can talk to two different people, I can reach out to two different people, I will research, I will do something at least. Right? If I open the laptop, I'll do something at least. So that
So basically,
small,
invest
small
invest in
steps is
learning.
what makes it. Absolutely. Initially, in a concept like this, and from where I started and how I started, I think that's been my biggest learning. And fortunately, things fall in place. When you're researching, you get an idea. Okay, let me try this, right? The same way NSR cell, I am Bangalore happened, जिसके साथ we were incubated also, right? That entire journey was amazing. That actually made me realize, okay, this is entrepreneurship, right? What I am doing is not like, something in vain, but it is actually truly I'm building something. That motivation is also important, and you learn a lot. So I think things happen when you believe they will happen, and when you are doing something to make it happen.
Tell me something, Achal. Everybody has a dream box. What's yours?
Dream box. Okay, to organize Ranveer Singh's wardrobe one day.
That's one of the most impressive dream boxes that anybody can actually have. But I think I was just seeing
I
I was just seeing your
absolutely
website.
love that.
Oh yes, absolutely. I was just seeing your website. Apparently, I think you've also done it for Trisha, right?
Yes, we did.
How was the experience working with her?
Oh, beautiful. She's an amazing person. And I think she was extremely busy when she was moving into her, like, when she wanted her new house to be set up. And one of the most amazing person that I have worked with, frankly. And she trusted us, like, you make the choices, you get it done. And I just want the place to be nicely done up. And when we made that possible, I think she had just said a statement, you have made this house a home, like, and we had never asked her for anything, and she gave us a shout out on Instagram and said ki, you need to contact them if you want to turn your space into a home. I think that was a feeling that we can't even say when uh, the space is just not space, it's turning into something more beautiful.
The business which fundamentally works on referrals, right? So you do a good job for a particular,
Yes.
household, and then that person refers to other people and stuff like that. So I think now that universe has
Yes.
already given you Trisha, I'm sure the universe will also give you Ranveer Singh, right?
No, we have done a lot of high profile projects, thankfully, and we are very, very grateful for that.
Very
And
nice.
some beautiful human beings have come into our lives, which we can't express enough gratitude for.
That is so amazing. Now let's discuss a little more in terms of failures, Achal. One is, of course, the success is part of it. Okay, but let's discuss about failures and major failures. I don't want to, know about some very small failures or something. Give me an example of some massive failure that you had, uh, which really taught you something that nobody or nothing else has taught you so far. Has there been any such one or two examples that you can probably think of?
When you think about massive failures, I don't think I have something which made me feel ki I have to start from scratch or something like that.
Okay,
I think some massive failures, small day to day operational problems, and all those things is something that you keep on navigating,
right.
right? But
Those are not
I
failures,
don't
right?
think
See,
we have,
that's a part of job. That's a part of
yes,
your entrepreneurial journey, right? But
yes.
I'm specifically talking in terms of now, for example, you had got in touch with the client had already confirmed the order, for example, and a lot of stake was with that particular revenue that was supposed to come in. That suddenly did not turn up for you. Did you have a plan B in place? Did you have a plan C in place?
But
Because once you operate on a particular zone, because I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs operating only on a plan A mode. They don't have a plan B or a plan C. You're getting it? So that's where I'm coming from. Because
there
once you
have
fail at
been
that plan A,
instances.
that's it.
Yeah, there have been instances where we have been very close to, converting a deal, and then we have not been able to. It does happen, but then you move on. I will again, as I said, I'll went out for that one evening, next morning maybe, but then I'll come to, as I said, come to terms with it. That it was not supposed to meant to happen, though it's a big revenue, big ticket thing that I have been counting on for this month's revenue. I am scared of failing. I will not say that I'm not scared of failing. I am afraid of failing. What if I don't have so much of money in my bank at the end of this month? How am I going to pay my bills, salaries, and everything? I do get scared about that aspect. But I think we have been very, very prudent in how we are tackling things, right? I will not also count myself as a very, very big risk taker.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah, so I may we make very, very sound judgment calls. Like if this does not happen, do we do have so much of resources to fall back upon for so many? We have a pipeline, we have a runway. You build all those things. Every month does not go as planned, but that having said that, I immediately move on to how can we make it happen. Like, what are the things that we can do to make this month better, or maybe next month better. There have been months, like, in these 4 years also, where that particular month we had zero revenue. Thankfully, that's been a little backstory.
right.
But yeah, but the moment you have uh, crossed a threshold, you always want to go upwards from there, right?
Absolutely.
उसके नीचे कुछ भी होता है तो आपको लगता है this is a failure for this month.
This is a failure for the month.
बस
Correct.
इतना तो बेसिक हो गया, हाँ, इतना तो बेसिक है, इतना तो होना ही चाहिए, राइट? जब
Interesting.
वो
Yeah.
बेसिक नहीं होता है तो आपको लगता है दिस इज अ फेलियर फॉर दिस मंथ, व्हाट डिड वी डू रॉन्ग, वेयर डिड इट नॉट गो राइट, और लाइक व्हाट कुड वी हैव डन. सो यू स्टार्ट एनालाइजिंग इट. फिर देन आई स्टार्ट थिंकिंग दूसरा रेवेन्यू सोर्स क्या हो सकता है, whom we can approach, what else we can do, can I spend this time on training my team better. So you go through those up and down, but massive failure, I don't think. I hope we never have to face that.
Praise that. Fantastic. So, but tell me something, Achal. Do you think that a lot of entrepreneurs today are getting sucked into the day-to-day operations kind of activities rather than focusing on the larger picture? Do you think that is happening?
Yes, it does. I myself am a victim of that, I feel. But this year, things have started changing. I realized
Okay.
that I was
Things have
deeply
started
involved in
changing, or things have started changing, or you made them change, right?
yes, you make them change.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Say that.
You start
Mm.
working towards it. Yeah, you start working towards it. Ki you don't
Absolutely.
have to get involved in each and every interaction of with the client. You don't have to get involved in each and every process. There are certain things that can happen because you have to trust कि जिन लोगों को आपने सिखाया है और जो लोग आपके साथ खड़े हैं, they will do it. Right? There's trust, delegation and everything. See, बहुत मुश्किल होता है ना अपने किड को किसी और के भरोसे छोड़ देना.
बिल्कुल सही बात है
Right.
बिल्कुल सही
So,
बात है एब्सोल्युटली
हाँ, letting go is not easy for entrepreneurs because they have built it from scratch and we feel that हमसे better तो ये कोई और नहीं कर सकता. और जहां एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट डील हाथ से निकल गई, आपको लगता है यार मैं इन्वॉल्व होती तो वो हो जाती.
हो जाता है करेक्ट
राइट, हो सकता नहीं होती, राइट, ऐसा नहीं है, राइट, बट आपके दिमाग में हमेशा रहता है डिड दे गिव देयर बेस्ट, समवेयर आई थिंक वी हैव टू लेट गो एंड trust. And that's what I have come to realize, that to grow you have to trust people who are building this with you. And that is a learning, and that is something that I have started implementing big time this year. Get processes in place, start trusting your team, start trusting people around you, and it will happen. And I've seen the results. Frankly, there have been projects where I've been have had zero involvements. My team has taken care of from the first client interaction towards the closure, and I've got impeccable testimonials from them. So
And I'm
I think
sure
that
that
trust
will be
has
the happiest
started.
moment for you as a founder, right? To see
Absolutely.
to see things move without you moving an inch, right?
Yeah. So I have a habit of calling my client at the end of the project, right? How did it go? And when they says like, where did you find this person? How did you find this person? And that's the most happiest moment for me. Ki, I am building a team of powerful women who are going out there, who believe in this vision with me, and who make things possible for Arrange It All. And I'm
Fantastic.
actually grateful. Yeah.
That's truly amazing, Achal. One more thing I wanted to check out, with you was with respect to there are different mindsets that people talk about with respect to entrepreneurship, right? So if you were to basically lock on a particular mindset and say that, okay, fine, this is the mindset, not one mindset, not different kinds of mindset, that one mindset, what is required for me as an individual basis my personality, what would that be?
I think positivity.
Very
I've
good.
been thinking
Okay.
about it. Yeah. Positivity is like there, as I said, there will be moments where you think, "Ki, why is this? You're putting your heart and soul into it, and it's still not happening the way you want to." I reached that place where I actually envisioned myself. Like people call it journey. For me, like, there are goalposts, right? I
Right.
cross one and then I'm ready for the other one. So recently also I was reflecting on this, and I had written down also one of the LinkedIn posts where I said ki I'm a very impatient person. Right. The moment something happens, I jump onto something else. I soak in that moment, give myself a pat back. Well done, Achal. You made this happen. And, this is a victory. So I just move. Right. So I think that is also like, applauding yourself is also important, that you have built something, because the world does that for you. At times we forget to applaud ourselves. So that positivity is always important for you to work. And I'm a big believer of kindness, Anand. Like, I think if you're
So
kind
wonderfully
to
said.
someone, yes, if you're kind to
It
someone,
comes
it
back.
always comes back. It comes back. There have been so many people I used to, approach starting मेरे career में, जब मुझे कुछ नहीं समझ में आता था. So, just to understand their mind space, understand where they are coming from. अगर कुछ एक चीज मैं सीख लूं, something like that. And there's so many people who supported me. There are so many people who said this is not gonna work, but I never felt कि वो लोग ऐसा क्यों बोल रहे हैं. It's their perception. So I always give people the benefit of doubt. अगर गुस्सा आ रहा हो तो भी I try and think about the perspective. And अभी भी मुझे कोई भी मैसेज करता है ना, to understand, or I will at least revert back. Even if I don't have time, I think it takes one message, that kindness. अगर आप किसी को दे सकते हो, एटलीस्ट रिवर्ट बैक एंड क्लोज द लूप. अगर आपके पास टाइम नहीं है, बोल दो कि हाँ इस वीक नहीं पॉसिबल है, मे बी आई फाइंड सम टाइम फॉर यू. But revert back to people, I think nowadays that is something that is, I find, severely lacking.
Honestly, after this conversation, Achal, I must confess that this is one of the most simplest and the most effective conversations that I've actually had, in the last 8 episodes of mine. Okay, because you've put
Okay.
things so simply and so effectively that it really comes out extremely well. And your thoughts about positivity, your thoughts about kindness, is something that I resonate with so well. And I also feel in my entire journey, these are the two aspects of it. In fact, I myself would have chosen if somebody would have asked me, this kind of a question. Positivity is definitely one of them, and gratitude, of course, would be the second one for me. You said kindness, which is again a very, very starkingly very beautiful quality that people should have. Okay, so
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So if I have to ask you in a nutshell, Achal, for arrange it all, what would be the one hook and hold statement for you if you have to keep your customers and if you have to expand your business?
So our mission statement is something that we stand by. It's like
Okay.
we empower you to create beautiful spaces. I got stuck on that.
That's fine. That's fine. No problem. No problem. You take your this one. Anyway, all this, we'll put it up in the editing part of it, so not a problem.
तो हमारा जो मिशन स्टेटमेंट है उसमें we say we empower people to for and make their spaces work better for them, right? By understanding them.
Fabulous. Right.
So
Okay.
that is something that we want to go out and say ki each person's space works differently for them. It's very, very personal. So we should create spaces that resonates, that makes us happy, and that is on our own. So we always try and understand the person before we understand the space. Right? So कई बार ऐसा
Right.
लगता है कि wardrobe ही तो है, but उस wardrobe के पीछे there's a person,
There's a
right?
person. There's a
So
human being
we,
who's
yeah.
involved. Correct.
Yes, a kitchen के पीछे there's a person, even if that kitchen is being run by a cook or a house help, उस kitchen के पीछे there are two three faces who's working जिनकी job हमें easier करनी है, right? Apart from making it look nice. So we
Right.
always feel that statement that creating happy spaces is something that we always go by, that you should feel happy about your space. अगर वो messy है, लेकिन आपको अगर परेशान नहीं कर रहा है, then also it's okay.
Very interesting, yeah. So, how do you see yourself? Maybe looks like it's a very interview kind of a question, but how do you see arrange it all? The next 5 years, how do you see the space emerging for you?
Oh, we are going to be the leaders in the organizing industry in India. You
Fantastic.
use the word organizing. The only company that should come to your mind is Arrange It, and
Arrange it
we'll
all.
make that
Correct.
happen. Yeah.
That's amazing, yeah. So, Achal, it was actually wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for giving us so much of insight into what it takes to organize your spaces better. And I wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors. And we definitely, hope to connect again and we'll cross our paths very, very soon. So thank you so much, for
Absolutely, Anant. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
thank you so much.